They know how to swing at that, but that's not the point. The point is, I've seen this pitch so many times. I know exactly when it's going to drop and what the spin is, right? And you translate that to the workforce. If you're not exposing yourself to as much as possible, and I don't mean sometimes people will rattle stuff off at work like they know it. Like, do you know that or do you Google know it? So there's a massive difference. There's the 5 minute I Googled it, and there's the, hey, I took an afternoon and I went down the hole on this thing. Just by doing that a little bit every day is going to put you in the top 10% of any
Let,
population.
let me dig there. Going down the rabbit hole. So is that if I'm an actual person that works for, let's say, Snappy or whatever, is that me setting up meetings with other people in the company? Tell me what you're doing. Is that you putting your hand up and saying, let me lead this initiative, even though I have no idea what I'm doing? What do reps look like and going down that rabbit hole actually look like at
Yeah,
work?
and you're going to overwhelm yourself a little bit until you learn to balance it. So caveat there, it's signing up for more, right? It's like you said, I want to be on every project that people will possibly let me be on. And the way to get on those projects, you don't have to have the experience. When I'm looking at talent that's not at that, call it VP or C-suite level, I'm looking at talent that's at that, call it director, senior director, manager type level. The two biggest things I look for is competence and aptitude. I can't teach those, right? I can teach you how to do a task. I can teach you how to do a thing. It's no different than when we used to recruit analysts on Wall Street, right? I can teach anyone to do a DCF and do it with my eyes closed. I can't teach you to be hungry. I can't teach you to be smart. And I can't teach you to be competent where you just have basic common sense. That is how you get on these teams. And then you just become a sponge. Hey, let me do this. Let me do that. Let me get feedback on this. That's one of the reasons so many people will flock to the street for M&A is, are you working 100+ hours making a lot of money? Sure. But the real reason you're doing it is name another job where you might have the opportunity to sit in on 50 board meetings a year. You get to learn what they actually care about. You get exposed, you get reps to what the CEO looks at. It's not about the 50-page slide deck that the CEO might look at 2 slides of. And this applies to corporate as
Maybe.
well. We saw this even when we worked together. It's not about the deck. It's, okay, did we do the work? Yeah, but that enabled us to get in front of the founder, see what he actually cares about, and facilitate the conversation. So now next time I know immediately what to go to make my
You
next.
have to do that work, and that's like your VIP pass. And you're right, they're not going to look at the deck that you spent all night working on. But if I didn't see the deck, I'm like, well, you obviously didn't even put any work in. I'm not going to give you any credibility, or I'm
That's
not
not
going to
how
give
it
you.
works.
Yeah,
It unlocks the opportunity to get exposure to that leadership. And if a good leader is going to recognize great work, they will. They're going to see it. Be like, or I'll be honest, do I look at every single slide that is sent to me? No, I look at the slides that matter most to me. And it's an and statement. And if it's good work, I'm going to acknowledge it, and we can go have a conversation. But whether it's slides, whether it's extra hours to grind and make sure, like, let's say you're building a budget model, everyone has to build a budget in corporate. If you want a leadership role, guess what? You're going to be a budget owner. That's part of the gig, right? You're going to be working fast. Working a little bit later to make sure it's extra clean, it's tight, it goes to the penny. You've worked with your FP&A partner and you've written down all the changes you want to make. Even little efforts like that, it unlocks that exposure in those reps at the executive level. Hey, can you go teach everyone else how to be an adult and do it this way? Right. And I think I personally believe it applies to any career field. And if just add up those incremental minutes, right? If you take an extra half hour, right? I challenge some of my teams to do this when things are broken. Take an extra half hour each day above and beyond your day job. Go fix something that's broken. And you're going to chip away at it. And by the end of the year, look what you fixed. And guess what? It gets noticed. And if you don't, here's the alternative. Keep complaining about what's not automated. Then you have this spiral. We got to hire more people to do more manual tasks. Oh, well, the people we hired are overwhelmed with manual tasks. Let's hire more people to do more manual tasks versus, guys, you got to break the cycle. And it's gonna be a result of extra work. And I'm telling you right now, whoever does it, that's the person that's gonna shine.
yeah. Person A's reputation is he, she, they did something, they did the work, they didn't
Yeah.
complain. Person B is, well, I would do it, but I couldn't because dot dot dot. It's automatic. Who are you going to go with at
Yeah.
any situation?
And most of here's the other thing. Here's the thing I don't think most people notice. when you're looking at like, let's look at your business where it's at. Okay. Let's say you're at a 500 person or smaller business considered SMB, right? You're not even in a Fortune 1000. Everyone there that is a VP or a C-suite, I promise you, do you know how much free work they did as junior
Yeah.
talent? Outside of normal working hours, it wasn't overtime. A lot of times people probably didn't even see it. But what were they measured on that got them to where they are? It's the outcomes they generated. The only way you're going to generate an outcome that's above and beyond, unless you got a supercomputer for a brain and you can squeeze it into your 9 to 5, it's that little bit of extra every single day because you've already picked the outcome you want. And you see it, like it separates people. We saw it, man, we were at what, a 1,700, 1,800 person business at its peak. I could pick the square root of employees at that company and I could point out exactly the little bit of extra they were doing. But when you look at their level of achievement and outcomes relative to the bell curve of the population at the business, 9 to 9.
That is the thing that if you're listening or watching, I do know, and we'll talk about this. There's relationship building. Sometimes people do get a level up. We've seen this where somebody knows somebody and they can get by fine. But for everybody else, which is the large majority, it is they did the work and they did it quietly. They did it more efficiently. They did the real work, and that's how you move forward. It is not the schmoozing. I used to think I could play the politics and schmooze my way through it, and people see through that. At least people that are doing the real work can see through it.
I tell people there's two things that control the world and you just got to be okay with it. One is interest rates, whether you like it or not, they run your life. Two is bell curves. Show me the people that made it to, we're talking at a high powered company, right? That's growing quickly with good outcomes. Show me the number of people that made it simply because of politicking. And I'm going to show you the tip of the bell curve. But for the other 80%, that thick, the bell itself, they're measured on their outcomes.
Yep. 100%. Do the work. All right, let's move on.